Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to this wonderful celebration of International Coaches Week 2022, which ICF has promoted or encouraged, and coaches from the world over are sharing best of the things they do. And I am Sat Khalsa, co-director and co-developer of Innermost Shift Coaching Model. And we are in this business of helping people to learn coaching and even develop as coaches and also coach people. We begin by coaching people with NLP, and eventually we have evolved with lots of learning from yoga somatic science, yoga psychology, the power of love as force for good, and neuroscience, neurochemistry, and other walks of life. And we continuously update ourselves with latest research and incorporate in our model and help people to get the best where they can. And that's what our mission is, to help people to achieve the best they can every single moment and a single lifetime we have been given. Now, as we come ahead in this series on day 6, today we are going to talk about the game coaches play using certain tools. While we wait for some more guests to join in, as they join in, here is Siri, who's with me, and we have jointly worked together and help people to learn the best they can from us. Okay, Siri, just
Yeah,
say two
so
words about yourself.
yes, so let me introduce ourselves. My name is Siri Khalsa and Mr. Sat Khalsa. Both of us MCC is director for Innermost Shift Coaching. We've been into this line for more than 30 years. As Sat sir has already mentioned that it's been, 30 years, and about I think 12 years back we got into ICF and we formulated the whole program with the ICF competencies. And it's been a wonderful journey. We have been coaching thousands of people. Earlier it was NLP coaching, now it's ICF coaching, and we have trained people as innermost shift coaching. That is a model that has been created. The focus of the model is to help people to navigate to their beingness through the process of various tools that we have added, taking from NLP, taking from brain science, neuroscience, and including the yoga somatic science as well. And this has been a profound journey for both of us. And in that process, we have also learned a lot. So, sir, let's talk about today. In the meanwhile, if this we have another guest, Sophia, if she joins in, that will be really great. We'll add her in. In the meanwhile, since the topic today is about living the coaching tools to go from breakdown to breakthrough today. So, what does it really mean to have a framework of coaching, and why is it important to have this framework of coaching? What do you have to say about that?
All right, so let me explain in the context of a game. Every game has a field and a framework in which the game is played. And there are certain rules, there are certain guidelines, there are certain scorecard, and there is certain way to win and make a win-win situation. Either party wins, it doesn't matter. If the game is played well, we enjoy it. Now, in coaching, it's not about winning and losing. It's about, both the coach and the coachee have a game and a score to earn. The goal of the coachee is to get the outcome they desire. And the goal of the coach is also to help the client to get to that goal and help the client to play the best inning possible in that little duration. Now, that's where when people start their journey as a coach, everybody needs some framework when we start the journey. Whether you learn walking, so you have a framework, you have a structure to support you. And like when you learn to walk, you have a walker to walk with. And even if you do away with walker at some point of time, it doesn't change your walking. So you still have that kind of a framework now embedded in your own neurology and your physiology, and now your self-supported system. So you move away from these taking support from outside to seeking support from inside. So that's what the muscle develop when you have a framework. So this is exactly is the role of a good framework, a good structure that what will we do before coaching, what will we do when we begin our coaching, what will we do to explore where the currently client is, presently what's happening, going on, what do what do client want now, what can help the client, and then when client reaches there, the client knows that I have reached there where I wanted. And then reaching there is not the end of it. Is to continue, seeking support from where the client has reached and use that into something tangible in the life. So everything, let's say I change my habit right now, it's not possible. But I experience some change. I have to do something to change my habit. Similarly, if I want to be productive, at the end I will be somewhere and I will be required to implement that. Again, I need a framework of implementing. So a good goal tracker system and good uh, progress tracking system has to be there. So this is the function of having a good framework. And Siri, you know that we've been using it, right? And we've been teaching people, and eventually they do away. But in framework, one of the very important part is that when we have to empower people into some state of being, that time there are different situations. So let the audience hear that to to deal with the different situations, what do we have in innermost shift coaching?
Yeah, I think, thank you so much for that. So, when we are just to consolidate what you were said, the framework of coaching, the thought which was coming to my mind is that, it's like a navigation process. The whole framework is navigating from starting listening to the client. Obviously, all the competencies remain embedded from the ICF, and then moving the client from the understanding the problem and finding out the solution, and then using that proper tool, what you're asking me your question, and I'm going to come back to that, and then putting that solution into a goals and action plan. And if you can navigate the client, and if you have this framework in your mind, I think it becomes much more easier for people as a coach, so that you understand where are you going, and also helping the client to reach to that what the client is looking forward to. And the tools obviously are very, very important. Innermost shift coaching, as the name says, innermost shift coaching is about creating that innermost shift. And we believe it's our style, it's our coaching style, it's our framework what we have designed, where we talk about that we need tools to handle people in different kind of situations. So we can achieve a goal, we can help a client to reach to a goal. But what about if there are some patterns of life which the people are holding for a longer time? Then how to resolve that? How to let the client release those patterns? So we have embedded different tools from different sciences. It could be any different situation of life, to identifying the purpose, to finding out your own mental emotional block, finding out that how we can have a better relationship. So we have different tools for different life situations which are embedded in the whole framework, so that when people in the end, come out not only with just a goal, but also are able to release those patterns. And there's a neurological shift also which happens in the people, right? So that's where the tools come into play, when we are able to help them to break the patterns.
Wonderful, Siri. So just to reinforce what you have said is that there's a better understanding. So there are a variety of tools, number of tools, more the number of tools one knows, the more the situation one can learn to handle, and
Absolutely.
better the client can, reach to their goals. Now, and let me put in something here that before we use all tools in this motion coaching model, um, there is a very profound fact that we talk about, that navigating the client to the beingness. Okay. And Sri, can you just let the audience know that what does this navigating to beingness means?
I think that's a very wonderful thing. And this is one of the, I think, the heart of our program, what we talk to. And when we make people as coaches and innermost shift coaches, the heart of this whole coaching is about navigating to the beingness. It's absolutely my way of understanding, and what our innermost shift coaches understand. We're all born with that pure being within us. And that is somewhere, when the child is born, the learning starts happening, which is good, equally good and bad. Why good? Because we will not grow up if we do not learn it. So our family, our friends, then we go to the school, our teachers, and slowly, slowly we keep moving, and all the layers keep forming of the experience over this pure being within us. Good, because when we are growing, we need all that learning. bad, I would not say bad or stuck, because that being gets hidden within us, and we are unable to access to that purest of form within us, which is a guide, which is a true teacher, a true guru within us. So what we have done is we have really, it has taken a lot of our years of experience and a lot of guidance from our teachers as well. And the whole first part of the program, and the first thing is about helping people to navigate to that beingness, uncovering all the layers and getting in touch with that purity within, from where you know the things are right, from where you know that you are unique, from where you know that when you're doing things, it is your inner knowing which is guiding you all the time. So we initiate people to the same process so that, one, they understand and they get connected to it, and secondly, whenever they're going to coach people, they will also navigate the clients to that beingness, so that when they come out with a goal, they are able to understand and live it fully and realize that goal fully, so that, because they know it's going to coming from the base, from the truth from within themselves, then it becomes easier for them also to live that goal and accomplish the desired results what they're looking forward to. So that's what we do in the navigating to beingness.
That's very good explanation, Siri, you have given. And here is someone asking a very specific question, that how do you do this? And what does it really mean? Can you elaborate a little more? It seems to be a very profound concept. So let me answer whosoever has put this question.
Please.
That in fact, I would say that there are three things about human potential. One is that we have potential, and I know it. Well, some people even don't know it. But first state is that I know that I have a potential. Next thing is that if I know it, do I trust it? So trusting your own potential is different than knowing it. And then there's a third state, which is very ecstatic and blissful state. And that state is that, do I really feel the joy? Do I really feel very happy about that I have a great potential? I've done a lot and I can do a lot. I do possess immense capabilities. I've learned a lot. I have good learning ability. I can develop far superior capabilities than I have developed so far. So there is no end to it. So when a person get lost into this ecstasy of that there is so much inside me and there is a source inside me of that power. Power could be mind power, power could be brain power, power could be, you know, your any spiritual power. If you think so, no matter what power, your nervous system power or any power. So when you trust that the source of this potential is also deep inside me, and you experience a state of being open. So what do? We do is we interview people and use the powerful neurolinguistics questions and patterns which drive people to get in touch with their potential, their possibilities, and the source deep within. And they feel all resourceful and they are into bliss of their own potential. So that's where we navigate them to, and they strongly get anchored and rooted into this state of being. That's how we do it. Now, this is the one part. But the next part is that, you know, right from the beginning, as we stated, that a lot of influences happens, lots of influence. From the day one, at this stage zero, we are human being deep inside the womb of the mother. But at 0.1 second, we have lost that truth of being human. We are now a caste, we are now a religion, we are now a male, we are now a female, we are now a citizen, we are now a child. We are no longer that life that has gone and developed into the being of it and blossomed. We get conditioned, we get rolled into different forms and shapes. Now, that's where we lose what we love and we do what others want it or others love. So, where is the energy of love that makes us do everything possible? So, we help people to activate that powerful love that works as force for good. And then the another factor is that we help people to connect with their uniqueness. Everybody is unique, and we have gone through the unique set of circumstances and unique set of evolution, with unique talent, unique gifts, unique ideas. So we're using very powerful search processes. We continue interviewing the person and elicit a very powerful state of appreciating and honoring their uniqueness. But this uniqueness is a very constructive process when we use it very properly. But this uniqueness is a very destructive process if we follow out of the system. For example, you could be an organization and you are hired there because you have a unique talent. But if this unique talent you use beyond the boundaries of the culture and what's required in that system, then this uniqueness is a destructive process. Similarly, if you're born in a family and you're taken a decision, let's say you earn some income and you have the right over your income. But if you spend the whole income on you or whole income on someone else, so you're not operating with a sense of inclusiveness. You're not using your uniqueness with the sense of inclusiveness. So being exclusive fall out of the system, though uniqueness is an exclusive appreciation. So we connect a person to their uniqueness and sense of connectedness and contribution. You will not be supportive for everything that you do, and you also don't support everything that others do. And then there's a deep sense of knowingness, wherefrom we know what's right for us. And these three virtues or abilities or superior abilities, we help a person to become alive and active to. And this whole state of being, where you operate from being so open to possibilities and focus to get desired result with a sense of possibilities and source guiding you, and you're very very open to experiment things deep within you, and then uniqueness, connectedness, and then knowingness. When we all put together, it's a state of being. And let's understand one thing: from a lousy state we take lousy decision, from an average state we take average decision, from a good state we take good decision, from an excellent state we take excellent decision, from a beautiful state we take beautiful decision, and from a beautiful and excellent state we take beautiful and excellent decision. So if your coaching is not in a beautiful and excellent state, which we call as the most supreme state of excellence, I'm sure he will make lousy choices and regret later, no matter how good a person feels at that time. Now, that's how I think I've answered this question to best of ability. And
Mm.
whosoever
So we
asked,
have,
I've got the answer.
yeah, thank you so much, sir. We have Sophia. I think she's facing some kind of a, you know, problem in her connecting. In the meanwhile, she connects back, and I will definitely introduce her. Let me just go over and ask such another question. Let's see if she joins back.
Yeah,
Is she
she's
there?
there.
Hi,
Oh, yeah.
Sophia. How are you?
Welcome, Sophia.
Can you hear me clearly, Sophia?
Hi. Hello,
Hi.
everyone. I can hear
Hello.
you. It's very,
Okay.
very shaky though. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So let me just introduce you very quickly to the audience. I understand you have an issue in connection, but that's fine. We'll continue. So Sophia is the founder and a chief learning officer of ICLI Coach Training School, named top transformational coach US today. Sophia is a dance and a beach enthusiast. She has served as a director of first impressions for a task force for the former vice president of the United States, and her innate ability for excellence, execution, and acceleration allows her to meet individuals right where they are and then help them to soar from there. For more than 30 years, Sophia has served as an agent of change for followers around the world, being featured in the Success magazine on Fox News and Sirius XM Radio. Having started her journey as a director of human resource and a leader in the education arena, Sophia was fortunate to serve as a head of several training organizations in the federal government, including her tenure as a director of enterprise wide training for more than 10,000 engineers, attorneys, and analysts. Wow. Her love for mentoring and coaching has blossomed into her signature leadership development model: leadership, ownership, and accountability. Sophia is also a best selling author committed to women's global empowerment, as evident by her novel, Fierce Vulnerability: A Colored Girl's Truth, Trials and Triumphs, debuting as Amazon's number one new release for dramas and plays by women, and the popular Ease and Flow Journal, a 31-day journal to get clear, connected, and courageous about life. I think still having an issue in her connection. So while she comes back, sir, so let me ask you another question.
Sure.
When people are doing, free coaching, there's a free style of coaching. So what do you think, how does living by the coaching tool, not just using it only, boost the confidence of a coach to be fully present with the client, vis-a-vis thinking of what to say next? So what do you have to say about that?
But just let me hear you because your voice got once cut and I couldn't answer what was the core sentence
Yeah.
you spoke.
So it says that the question is that how does living with the coaching tool, not just using it, actually boosts the confidence of a coach to be fully present with the client rather than thinking that what you have to say next? So how does a coaching tool, when you're living it, really helps you boost your confidence while in a coaching scenario?
All right. I think this is a very, very nice question and it will enlighten very most of the coaches in a good manner. See, what does a tool mean? Let's understand that. Tool is a set of questions in a asked in a very organized manner and to help the person elicit the best state which is needed in that scenario. Let's say, for example, it's procrastination. So, if you want to move a person from procrastination to motivation and motivation to overdrive to take initiatives, naturally, if you explore a person, the reason that what's letting a person be there where person is and what will move the person from where the person want to. Now, there are certain times that the coachee cannot think and coachee can go into a round and round. Now that's where you partner, you engage with the client and you have to now offer a canvas to draw certain things or maybe make a person move and give some insight that if we move our body, maybe we move our mind. So for a moment, how would you like to move your body so that you're in a different state of being? So you offer a partner, a client. Similarly, if you are here, you're aware of that, one day the person if desire to shell off the motivation, shell off the procrastination, move into motivation, and he has to make it no longer tolerable. Maybe person has built a threshold of pain enough to let that state go. So person is waiting for some pain to move up before the person will take action. Like sometime one is little sick and doesn't go to doctor right away. Okay, might take some time until this has propelled a little bit more. So there's a level of threshold inertia that people have become comfortable with to stay. So a tool is there that if you explore that state enough, that what's happening and how long and what are you waiting for, and when you finally move into how much pain or how much agony it would be enough for you to move at. If you search your past time experiences or if you calculate the consequences that right now building up, maybe you are not aware of. So coach's job is to make a person think beyond current level of thinking, see things beyond client is seeing, hear things beyond client can hear. So tool is pain game. So you are helping the client to understand, explore the pain, and then how much pain would be, and that is enough for you to move. And then what are the gains, advantages, benefits you need to become aware of and how your life would be to creating the handset energy. So with this awareness of both what I'm going to lose and what can I possibly gain, If you now explore what's your now level of motivation, okay, and what will help you most. So the client can now, give you more choices. So you're offering a game of tool that time. You're offering a person to let's play a game, let's like a big
Hmm.
brainstorm. So a tool in mind is a specific organized set of questions with a certain orientation to help the client to get unstuck. And if you know it, naturally you can be totally present to the client because you know tension in mind. You know that you have something to help the person to come into this canvas, come into this field of game, and we'll move out. And you wait, and you remain fully present to respond to client in a free flow manner and asking open question. If mind is good enough, resourceful enough, client can come out with the answer. If not, okay, let's partner, let's do something here, okay, and that can be a good game. So this is how the tools make you worry less. Tools make you seamless, okay. And if you
Hmm.
live a tool and you are experiencing it every single day from your own curiosity, you know it that this is how it works. It is actually making you do things. So every tool, if you are living enough and you have discovered enough from your own lifetime experiences, you do not throw that experience in the person's body, but you raise the person's awareness. Okay, and you are learning both. So you learn from the clients psychology, and you also offer what you learn as a question, and the client reach to that learning. So that's how the tool makes you fully present with the client. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I think we are very sorry for this because internet connections are not in our hand. I hope Sophia joins back. We are just waiting her. In case she joins back, she's able to do, then of course we'll be interacting with her also. But in the
Okay, see, then
meantime,
let me ask you a question here. That how do you think that the values, or like in our model, the value conscious leadership. So how is this a module and a powerful section in the most shift coaching? And what can it do for the coaches and the clients?
I think it's something which is for me. I think when we are talking of, and also for the coaches when we train them, they come in for the value conscious leadership module where we're talking about the intrinsic values that we hold in ourselves. We all live by certain values, but somehow they are not displayed. Some people are aware of it, and some people are not aware of it. Rather, most of us are not aware that we are living by some values. So this module has a focus where we are helping people to connect to the wonderful tools of understanding a value system that you're living by, understanding your purpose, understanding what is your identity, understanding that what are your belief systems that you have. So we are talking about a whole self, the when we talk of the being, which is a combination of the whole values, the behaviors, the our beliefs and identity and the purpose. So this is a more a system or the tools in this particular module are which are very close. If you go in a circle, then the most closest is something which is very close to your heart is your values. One shift in values can create the whole change in your whole life. Just to give you a very quick example, the day a girl gets married, she becomes a wife, there's a shift happens. It's a whole value shift, it's a whole identity shift which happens to people. So this is one of the module where we use very wonderful tools to bring into the awareness of each and every coach that what is it that you're living for, and what is it that you need to change in your belief system which are limiting you, how you need to expand your identity so you can become much more open and you can include many more people, you can serve many more people in whichever area you are, and how we can break certain things which are again limiting us. So there are number of tools which are there in this program, in this particular module what we have, which helps them to go even deeper into their own self as an innermost shift coach. And if you start living by it yourself, it's a very beautiful way of doing it, because the moment you start applying it to yourself, your coaching presence increases, you're becoming one with the client, you have a better understanding of your client's mindset, and that further creates an environment of trust, and even the client become aware in the whole process that where the client is, right? So I hope this answers your question, and if you want to add, you can definitely add something more to it.
Okay. I have to ask, to add here, because you said if something is limiting you. And most often it is the belief system that limits a person. So is there some tool which can help people to change their belief system also?
Yes, absolutely. There's a tool which we run through in the program where we identify that what is the limiting belief. So it's a full process where you're understanding your client's limiting belief, understanding that where it is limiting it, and how we can really abandon the belief and adopt a new belief, and then put it in the place where you have the old belief, and then make it much more stronger. So that's a very wonderful tool what we use. So I've just given you a little framework about it, but then obviously it moves in steps, and we help the client to break that limiting belief and live with that strong belief what the client wants to do it.
That's wonderful. I think because most people struggle, and if a tool can help people to seamlessly help someone or coach someone to change their own beliefs about money, maybe belief about relationship, or maybe about something that they are wanting to create in life, maybe a startup who wants to. I think sometimes people find it hard to believe that they can achieve something, and if they can get unstuck with a tool like this can be wonderful coaching. And
Absolutely. So
let me
can I,
also know because, yeah,
yeah, I have one question if I can ask you right now.
sure, okay. Anything
You
can
know,
help the
yes,
audience.
there's somebody who's asking this question, that how does using a coaching tool can actually create a space to be more free for the coach, as the topic is games coaches play. So as the coach plays the game of discovery and the aha moment also with the client. So what do you think about this? How it can create a free space for the coach, especially when you're using a tool?
Well, free space here, though I don't know um, the person who is inquiring. What does free space means?
So actually,
Um,
it is like you're creating a space to be more free. So when you're using a tool, you have, it's like when we're talking of the games coaches play, you have a rules, and in that rules, you can play that game. Otherwise it's not a game. So you have a space to play that game. So when we're talking of here coaching and using a particular tool, so the question is how it creates a space to be more free for the coach to play this game of discovery with the client.
okay. So though it's the extension of the answer I gave earlier, and if freedom here means, I will put in a new way. You know that I will draw this inspiration from what you did a while ago. We were approached by one of the CEO of a big company, and he just asked us one thing, that I'm in search of, someone to coach me. And I exactly know that he asked that. I understand that you want to be coached on, so let me know that what is that you need a help for. And the person said, I have just moved up the ladder and I have a big team to handle, and I've shifted from US to India, and I'm in a new set of environment. And I really, I know that I need some support, but I don't know what exact support I need. So if you can let me understand that something you can do, now that's the time, we quickly charted a path. We charted a path for the clients that, you know, the very first thing that will help you is to help you operate from the highest state of excellence, so that you're very clear about knowing that what you really want. Because even if you want to understand your own problem, you have to operate from a very transparent state of being. So that's the first thing we'll do, and we'll initiate you and navigate and connect you to your own potential and possibilities, and so that you can more courageously face up front what are you facing. And thereafter we have a nice framework, a set of tools, and notice how this is freeing a space for us, and we help you to be more resilient first of all, so that the daily trigger and the daily unexpected situations, if they happen around you, they don't bother you, and you can deal with them more effectively, and you don't lose on your productivity. And so, yeah. I think lots of it happen nowadays. Something or the other surprised me, and we said, all right. And next thing is that with your team, if you want to create a good understanding, we'll help you to, despite the differences, bring more harmony, and then engage and involve people. Actually, I think that's something wonderful, because I am not accepting everyone to say everything, and there are many differences to happening. And we said, this is how we'll continue. And I remember that, see, the way you told him, the third thing will be that you must be having some food. focus on goal, and I will help you to get into a very wonderful flow state. And that's how you'll pass the 3 months. And this is a 3 months path. And thereafter, we will help you to evolve your own vision, being absolutely hopeful and full of life. He said, I think you are making a lot of sense to me. I am talking to so many coaches for the last so many days, and they are just telling me, we will do the very best you want to happen in this session, we'll do this, and I am not figuring out that particular answer. And it seemed that I'll waste my money and time both with such people. And notice how this frees a person, and this free you. And we knew that this is the kind of tools and the framework which a leader can possibly like, and we are free. And we were quite free for 3 months. That what are we doing? And we know that. How are we helping the person? And we help to sort out several triggers. Okay. And it it was so miserable for the client. From miserable to miserable can happen if you have a
Right.
good tool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have another question from an audience, Mukadi, is asking what are the appropriate leadership coaching tools that you can recommend? So, what do you have to say about that?
Okay. It depends on which kind of leader you are training with. However, remember, even a tool that I just talked, first of all, to be more resilient, to be more effective in any given situation. When new policies, new systems, new economy, new things take turn. If you know that there is a leader in India who turned around several companies, and he turned around several companies that were just at the brink of losing it. And what he's known for is a good resilience. Then the tools, another tool of a good leader is how can a coach coach the such client with a good interactional excellence and can improve the interaction with different mindset, different thinking style, and different ways of being of the people. And that's where you need a good interactional excellence tool, and you must know how to help the leader identify the patterns of different communication and help the leader align with different thinking style, different responses. And the another tool is because leadership is a continuous transition process, and if they can, draw their own matrix of values and find out that what is the current value system the environment is
Mm,
going through, what is a desirable value system that can create a better culture, better environment, and what are some of the core values of this leader, and how can those core values align and find expression, okay, in this dynamics of change. And then another tool can be which how can you help a leader to understand different roles and set of roles that he need to play in different set of environment, because the different roles come from a different value system.
all right.
So these are the few of the tools that can help a leader. And then in that sort of environment, there's a way to, change ideas into vision. Leaders get many ideas, but
Mhm.
every idea is worth envisioning and changing into a good strategy of accomplishment and engaging and involving people to seek support. And there's a perfect model of accomplishment there. Like, for example, I will give you a case of, when Azim Premji took over as a leader, his company. So there are many opportunities on the way. First of all, think of these dynamics that he took over a company which is making Wipro oil, Wipro detergent, Wipro bulbs, and a lot of Wipro things. But the opportunity that time is the IT revolution. Now, he did not wait for to carry on the legacy of his father or forefathers, because company is bigger than the legacy. So if something has come to a term and a bigger opportunity is there, how can I let go of the old shell and evolve a new vision and engage new people into a new kind of a model of accomplishment. So, like everyone got ideas from the availing opportunities. So the opportunities come right before you, and that's where you need a very specific tool of visioning it, right? And it's not a theory. There is a specific way to being fully alive to everything happening around you. And then every opportunity is also not worth grabbing it. So most people, start running after the opportunities. So there has to be a deep sense of knowingness and sense of inclusiveness, and then a farsightedness. So these are the tools that you can tell a leader that I will help you develop it. So you can decide like this number of shadow tools like this. I think I've shared the most useful one just in this moment. Maybe you need to know more. You can always get in touch with us and we can help you to develop a good leadership model for coaching your leaders.
Yeah, I
I
think
hope
that's
this answers.
perfectly said, Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. I think the first, when you're talking to the people, especially on top, and you understand what's the kind of agenda and what's the kind of help they need. I wouldn't say help is the right word, but what's the kind of assistance they need for themselves at that level? Because when you're a leader, when you're moving up, first it's all about understanding the creating the vision or understanding the vision, and then coinciding your vision with the organization vision and taking the people along. So what we also do is, just to add to this, when you are talking to such people, you can create a whole package by understanding where the person is and where the person wants to go. And there are n number of tools in the program what we have designed where you can start from visioning, you can start from values. If there's an identity conflict, we can start from identity conflict. So we can just kind of package everything together and present it to the leader, and according to the need, then you can slowly one by one start coaching and using those tools in your session, right? So let me ask you this one more question. So when we are talking of tools, sometimes when people are um, tools and the framework both. Let's say when there's no framework, then people are in a free flow state. And according to my experience, I've also seen certain coaches when they're in a free flow state, they sometimes do get stuck in just kind of asking the next question. They have to formulate everything while they're doing it. But when it's a framework and when it's a tool, how do you think using this we can also maintain and educate coaches to also embody the presence? So, what do we really do to be in the presence using the framework and the tools? How can we really do that?
Okay.
That we are really present to the client in that moment.
Okay.
How does
Even being present and being present to the wholeness, it's a very organized and structured process mentally. Unfortunately, human beings do not do anything in an unorganized or random manner. We have a perfect system deep inside and a perfect structure. We are not aware of that. So being aware of your own framework of being fully present and alive to the situation around is itself a very powerful tool. So maintaining that kind of presence is you find expression through your way of being. So let me give you some way that you express your body, the way your body, and the way your breath is, the way your body postures are, the way your experiences, the way your expressions are, the way your sense of it is, the way your thoughts and thinking or no thought and thinking are, we call it a best pattern. So even your presence also has a good structure. And so is true that when you interact with people, right, in that moment, there is a perfect way. So there's nothing like open. You pick up the threads, what a person has opened up before you, and help the person to weave that thread into a good fabric that person is wanting. Now, it's a very good organized way that even to formulate a good question and the openness of a question also has a structure. So you being aware of that, how am I using it? And in your freestyle of coaching, responding to every single moment is also a perfect strategy. Okay, and then decoding the expression or expressional statement of the person. Like for example, if I say, that I want to be a good parent, now you're doing a research. Even good has a structure. So if you know that, Such words are the abstract word, but has a structure deep inside. And you will explore when you say good parent, let me understand what does this good mean? And when you understand the meaning, then you know that everything that you have in your mind has an expression through the evidence, has a sense. And you ask, so if you mean this, what will you see in every sense and know it that you are a good parent? What will you hear about? What will you feel? What will you say? So notice that it's a freestyle, but I am exploring it based on that everything get translated into a good sensory system, and I'm exploring it along with that. So that's how the perfect structure is makes you respond to the arising situation before you in a very free flow manner, but yet there's a configuration to that experience and a structure to that experience. And when people understand such a good technology and understand there is a structure into the abstractness that people display, you become curious. And even curiosity is a
Mhm.
perfect strategy, right? And you know that. How can the curiosity be displayed? So this is how understanding a tool makes you a good respondent to the situation arising in front of you in a very nice, good, free flow manner, and we call as artistry of mastery. Okay. No. So like
Yes.
you learn A, B, C, D, you learn in a good structured manner. And you
Mhm.
learn what comes after A is B and what comes after B is C. But life is not one after the another thing. And but in the beginning, we are using A is after B is after A and C is after B. But that's not the life. Okay. So this is how a good structures awareness or a good tools awareness makes you free flow respondent to the rising situation before you and make you fully present. Okay.
Mhm.
I hope you answered.
Nice. Oh, yes, yes, definitely. There's another question which is coming up. So, somebody is asking that how a tool can actually help the client to move from a breakdown to a breakthrough. So, from my mind, if I have to answer this question, that when you're using a tool, how can it help a client to move from a breakdown to a breakthrough? From the coach's perspective, when you are able to use a tool, one, because you have practiced the tool, because which goes to the earlier thing, when we were talking about that, if you practice a tool with your own self and you're living that tool, you definitely know that this tool can help the person to break that limiting pattern or break that stuck situation and make a breakthrough out of it. So if you practice the tools well within yourself, and you have the mindset that yes, if I'm going to use this tool, as I have come out of my shell, the client will also come out of the shell, because the tools work irrespective whether you're using it now or later on or you don't use it. But these tools are absolutely tools which are working at every and any time with anybody. If they provide it, they want to work with it. So if you're using a tool and you're living with the tool, and you have this insight that yes, this is going to work, then obviously you can help the client not to break down but help them to create a breakthrough, because using that you will be able to create and come out of those barriers and mental blocks what the client has already said. So if you can throw some light, that's my thought process. So what do you think about it?
Okay. See, I am loving the word Siri is speaking again and again. If you live a tool means if you keep asking those set of questions to yourself, it's called living a tool. And it's a self-inquiry and self-reflection. I'm just giving a name that people like it. And that does living means. Now, coaches are not hollow beings. Coaches are not a vacuum, just like a hollow face standing. And
Mm,
if even if they are, let me take an excuse and pardon and morally follow the we can't stand as a lousy face and help the person with just an open question and let the person come out with answer when a person likes and I don't like at least that. When we know that when there is a breakdown, then there is a possibility of not only breakthrough, but even to prove themselves that, oh, one day I was so shattered and today I'm full of life. So the bridge is longer. You have to
mm,
put certain planks to move from the personal state to break down to break through and prove wherever a person, let's say, if today I'm a bad or lousy public speaker, and tomorrow you find, my God, that hey, he used to be fumbling, tumbling. getting nervous, and today handling audience of lakhs of people. My God, you will look at more of me. What have I done? And now there was an opportunity in every breakdown to change into breakthrough. So a rough and a patchy relationship, there is an opportunity to prove yourself that you become extra romantic, okay, and exuberant to prove yourself so that you had turns toward you. My God, where was he? Where is he? Where was he? Where is he? So changing the breakdown into breakthrough, where am I coming from? Every coach must know that if I don't ask a question here and where a breakdown happening, there is a breakthrough, and he will, if he makes it, he will be known as the model of excellence. He will be looked as a role model. Now, if I have this awareness, naturally my question will elicit that from the client. But if I am a hollow or a living with a vacuum, would I even ask every question? That how will you use an opportunity to be seen as a role model? It's a very open question, but very powerful question. And then you work with the client to bridge that gap, and you use certain more tools and framework inside. So this is how this can be used. So definitely, breakdown can be changed into breakthrough.
Breakthrough. Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm.
So is there any more question coming from the audience?
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Okay.
Okay, this is says that as humans, we are tuned to give advice from our experience. And that's very true. When you're coaching people, you have your own life experiences. So the question is that how does following a framework and a structured method can actually help a coach in refraining from giving advice? What do you think? How can you answer that? Because when you're coaching people, it's so obvious that you have your own experience and you tend to tell people, okay, you can do this, but you have to hold yourself back. So how do you do that with the framework? How can that help you?
Drop your passion to be a coach if you are prone to give advices to people. Okay. And that's the one simple answer. And feel the pain of it, that advice is like adding vice. So when you add vice, you add one more vice to a person. You are not doing any good to the person. Best is let the person discover, okay, and not try to cover up. Even a person is not reaching there. So the answer is simple. What do you want being a coach? The passion of being coach means only helping people to let the best roll out, because your own experience could be pretty years old, okay, years old. And I will relate you one example here that I was astonished to see a mail from some chapter who was looking for, we want coaches from this industry and who must have 10 years experience in this industry. And I could not stop myself and ask a question back, that which is this company who is looking for the coaches from the same industry and with this much experience? Well, that person was kind enough to share. And when I interacted with that company, my only question was that do you want to give your people what has been working in the past decade? Or you want to think, you want to make your people think what they can discover would be possibly needed in the next decade? And he was quite stunned. He kept looking like this for a while. Thank God it's not a COVID situation. The person was right in front of me and it was not on the Zoom. And then said, I definitely want to be very futuristic. I said, when you look towards the right, you are too futuristic. When you look towards the past, in left side, you are quite pessimistic. You are quite futuristic in your answer. Now, what can you do here? Do you want to get coaches who are new to your field or expert to your field? So what do you think will make it possible? So my question was very, very open. And this opened up the person. I said, hiring a native coach could be a good decision here as you have decided, right? So this is my answer to people. Advice is only advices. Okay.
Yeah,
So
perfectly
first
said,
is
I think.
get in an area of coaching where you don't have experience, will refrain you automatically. The system will take care. So don't coach people from the same area with the same expertise, and it will refrain you from advising, but otherwise understand adding voice is advice. Okay,
Yeah,
feel
I
the
think,
pain of.
and also when you have a framework, when you're given a framework of coaching, and then you are living by that framework, what you have learned from any institute, what you learn from us as well, then you do not go out of the framework, because in a framework there is no scope of an advice at all. It's more about questioning, it's more about listening, it's about using the tool, and again putting the client into that space where the client comes with the solution and implement it. So if you live by the framework entirely from A to Z, I think it is something where you will not have to use your mind and use your interpreter to advise the people. So keep the advices to yourself. That's what you can do. And that's
Yeah,
what can
so
create a lot of,
true, true.
even presence along with what you're doing, and an awareness even with the client, that how you are so much with the client, and the client, allowing the client to really answer all the questions, what you've been asking for it. So I think that's what the framework really helps you to be in that flow of questions, and be there as a presence along with the kind of shift that you create in the people.
True. And for the clarity of audience, let me tell you, even 8 competencies that ICF gives a good framework, okay, to
Absolutely.
work within the frame, okay.
Absolutely.
And if you have that frame of mind of, okay, mm, ethically operating and having a coaching mindset, even
Listening.
and being a good agreement, presence, listening, questioning, and evoking awareness and turning into a good goals, that's a good framework given to you already. So every ethic given to you to follow by ICF is a good framework to understand your boundaries and make people understand their boundaries. Every competency, we call it very lovingly, and that's what the name of the next book is, the Eightfold Path to Liberation, are the 8 competencies that ICF drives you to. It's a very powerful framework to unfold, okay, the mysteries of getting free. So that's the framework. So framework is a rule, like a framework you see that holds your roof or the bridges, is a strong, sturdy system to safely pass through it. So when you are operating within a framework, you are strong, sturdy, and let people pass, okay, on a guideline. So that's the power of a good framework that gives you power. So I think the time is come to end, Siri.
Yeah, just
And
one
is
more
there
thing
some?
I would like to add, since our model also takes care of various tools what we have, and little just sharing with our the coaches and the audience. Sometimes people feel a resistance in using the tool. Why is that so? Because we've been also talking to various people, as we have a very good support system in terms helping our coaches. That can happen only when you are not using the tool, or you're not living by the tool yourself. The more you practice the tool, the more you live by it, you will have the faith and confidence that this tool works. As I said earlier, the tools are always working. It's only your mindset, it's only your blocking yourself when you identify and you feel a resistance in using the tool. So when you're learning the tools, you start using it onto yourself. And that's one of the biggest keys to become a very good coach. That's my learning of life. People who grow on top, people who become leaders, or they become even good human beings, they are living by certain values within themselves. They practice day in and day out. Because something which you do day in and day out, it becomes a part of you. And when it becomes a part of you, you have a trust in that it is definitely going to work. So resistance only comes when you are not living the tool. So start living the tool in small situations of your life. Start coaching your own self, right? Even if you think it's a big thing to coach yourself, simply use a tool to yourself so that you understand the power of a tool, because it's designed in such a beautiful way. The whole language structure which is designed in it, the whole framework and the whole navigation is designed in such a way that it is bound to break those neurological links in your mind where you have got stuck. And once your neurology gets cleared in those patterns, believe it, it's a new neuron system, new neurons which are living in your body. You build up a new system of creating a new life for you. It could be any situation of life for that matter. So if you live by it, I think that's something which is going to be really beautiful what you can do, with us. So thank you so much for everyone. And thanks, even Sophia, she could not connect because of the internet issues. So we understand you really cannot help such issues, right? And so we look forward. This will be present in the platforms various to us. Thank you, all the audience, for joining us. And we definitely look forward for you to come with us tomorrow and be with us on the day 7. And I hope we have the person available to us with all the internet working with us. Okay. So thank you so much, Sat Sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Greetings.
you.
Namaste. Bye bye.